Recording. Hello and welcome everybody to
Greetings to the future!
This is a
Welcome from the past.
pre-recorded D&D session which you guys are getting live, and only the 12 people in this room have seen before. So we are most of these people are hidden and ready to make sneak attacks at the players.
Zoe's not the only one who can pass her.
We'll make a
sneak,
quick
stealth
recap of what happened last session, which for you guys was only a couple of days ago. So,
We went into the forest. There was a chase scene.
We did. We crossed the rope bridge.
We went down some bridges.
We cut the rope bridge.
We cut the rope bridge down. It was amazing.
we
It was like a combo.
We escaped into the wilderness.
We did.
We explained to Lord Tyndall how things work.
We found some lizard folk.
We find some
I
arms
kept Lord
dealers
Tyndall.
first.
Oh yeah, that's true. Who tried to kill a squirrel.
We get involved in an arms dealer orc lizard folk sandwich.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Your nuts. The orc leader unconscious.
Natalia.
That needs rephrasing. I need a rubber. Not happy with how that phrasing now works.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Your headbutts the orc leader unconscious.
Yes.
Because natural 20s are funny when they happen to other people.
Did you watch last session?
No, it is not.
All right.
Freya is oblivious.
That
is also
so
true.
We're going
Did you watch
to
last
begin.
session?
We're going to begin where you left off, Zoe. So, Freya is on a horse and charging away from the town of Hawk. There are dust clouds gathering up around your horse as you go, and there is the sound of pursuit and things following you. You don't look back for some time. You just keep going. You're going in a straight direction, riding your horse as fast as you can. It's not... this is Fidalgo, your horse. And you look back every now and again, and all you can see is the clouds of dust that your horse has billowed up. And you ride for... you're not sure. The adrenaline's pumping, your blood's in your body, the wind is whipping past your hair. You don't have all your stuff on you. You haven't had a chance to grab all your bits and pieces, and you had to leave some stuff back at the castle and some stuff back at the peasant hut. You're on your horse, you're riding off, you're not sure where the rest of the group are.
Yeah.
And there is a sudden whistling sound. It's like a...
I'm not going to go towards that.
And there is a crash. You see very quickly appearing in front of you 3 metal balls spinning very fast attached to a chain. And there is a crunch. And all is darkness. You come to, blinking, and it feels like your arms are on fire. They are in a very awkward position, and as you raise your head, there is you can feel a sort of a sticky patch of matting. You raise your head and blink blearily. The light is very bright, and you have a swimming vision, and there's this warmth coming onto your face. It's still shapes and movement. You can smell something like roast pig. You can smell like meat coming out of a crackling fire somewhere nearby. You can hear vague shouting. Not shouting. You hear a vague conversation. It's spoken loudly, but it's just normal conversation in Orcish, which you do not understand. And as your vision comes to, and the 2 images coalesce in front of you, you find yourself staring face to face with a huge, panting creature. It looks like a wolf on steroids, and it is breathing right into your face.
Oh my god.
And it comes and it sniffs at you. And you hear, Iska, Ruska. And that's where we're going to leave you.
Now you see,
That's why you don't
See,
miss a
if
session.
you don't make sessions, you don't get saving throws.
You do, you just crit one them.
To be fair, you do that here as
that
well.
also happens if Freya rolls the dice.
We are back in the woods.
Sorry, Zoe rolls the
We have a lot
dice.
to do, guys. We are back in the woods, and you have just finished interrogating one of the Browter. Your attempt at threats failed, and then Lord Tyndall turned up and went, "I literally own you."
It was spectacular. It's just like, I'm going to roll intimidate by just being your direct superior. I'm your line manager. I'm not even your line manager. I'm your CEO.
I want you to go and tell your supervisor, to tell his superior, to tell his manager, to tell his boss he's fired. Yeah, so Tyndall looks a little concerned, as I think he would.
Mm-hmm.
But the lizard folk that that surround the clearing, now you get a chance to relax and see these guys. You can see that they are the same kind of proportions as a human. They are very definitely humanoid, but they have long scaled faces, and it looks like they're grinning the whole time. They've all got that permanent uptick to their mouths, and they show a lot of teeth when they talk. They are dressed in. Some of them have a collection of faded military garb, and others have constructed themselves a set of rags and cloaks and in browns and greens with which they'll be easily able to camouflage themselves. They're dressed like you'd imagine a ragtag scouting party.
They are dressed to camouflage into the environment.
That's correct. And they are cracking jokes and laughing to each other.
No, they were, if I remember correctly in the last session, they were worried because they wanted to be able to stay here to intercept weapons shipments.
They did.
But they were also concerned about getting Corcarel back to the Lake of Tears.
We found out who Corcarel was.
If that's the case, Cyrus, you need to stay. You want to stay here and hold the weapon shipments coming through.
There are other concerns. Let us take you back to our camp, please. We will feed you and rest you.
What are we doing with the gestures to the orcs?
Natalia.
What are we doing with Natalia and the others?
They said something about taking her to the river.
No, they took the weapons through.
I think we can just leave them there. If we do not show mercy to our enemies, how can we expect any in return?
No, that wasn't my question. I just don't feel 100% okay leaving unconscious people in the wilderness to wild animals.
What do you suggest?
I was hoping you'd have a suggestion because I don't want to wake her up either. I think I got lucky the first time.
I've got a plan.
Yeah.
Where's my fun thing?
That's always your plan, me.
Okay.
There's so many floated
I'm
bodies.
going to slightly, hello GM, fluff my druid craft, to make I'm going to wave my hand over the ground, and a little bush shelter covering will come over the unconscious people so that to anybody around it just looks like a big shrub.
Oh, that's fine. That's a perfectly fine use of Druidcraft.
Marvellous.
You can slowly build up the foliage in the area around them to give them a degree of concealment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
No check necessary.
Did the other orcs get away? Actually, if the other
Yeah,
orcs
some
get
of
away,
them did.
if the other orcs get away, they'll be circling back either way.
I would imagine so.
Right. In that case,
Perhaps with reinforcements.
then we should probably leave.
Let's.
One of the lizard folk goes and scrawls a message in the dirt.
Fuck you, an orc.
None of you speak orc, so you don't know what it says. Yeah.
Shit, dickhead.
Scroll. It's something like that. And he turns, says something in lizard folk. They'll laugh, and
It literally is. It literally is.
and they head off. The two lizard folk that took the wagon of weapons away rejoin the party, and Tutupek leads you through the woods. Fairly sure-footed. He's been here for some time, and He
Toothpick got healed by me.
Yes.
he did, yes, and he is grateful for it. And he leads
Are
you.
there any other badly wounded lizard folk?
There's one that's had a healing plate, the one that got trampled.
Yeah, they've got scuffs and bruises, but none of them are seeming.
Nobody's bad.
Nobody's grievously injured. They head off and they lead you a winding trail that wanders along a couple of streams that are going through the woods and into a gladed thicket of trees, at the approach of which Toothpick holds up a hand and everybody stops. And he calls out a phrase in lizard folk.
In lizard folk.
In lizard folk. And there is, you see, can I have perception checks from all of you actually?
Mm-hmm.
I can do No.
13.
13?
Yeah.
Okay. A 9. 13, 9, and...
16.
Okay, so, Neve, you see what's about to happen before it does, and you shuffle to one side and let the extremely well camouflaged blanket of leaves pull up.
Blanket of leaves.
And attacks. Yeah, you see, you have a vague flashback to a thing like this before. The blanket of leaves that covers the forest floor pulls up, and you see that it is in fact a sheet which has been had leaves stitched into it and foliage littering it. And underneath it, there are a couple of lizard folk who were waiting with bows, and they get themselves up and sound an alert through the trees. You see there's movement, and up in the trees there are a bunch of lizard folk. Toothpick leads you in and says, "Please, welcome, come in." And he takes you into the clearing.
Literally walking through.
It very much is. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe here. There is a little, there's a couple of little huts that have been built up in the trees. These are hastily put together. They're not quite as fancy as the movie budget Robin Hood huts, but they're there nonetheless. And you can see lizard folk turning up. There's quite a lot of them. There's something, there's probably around, in total, all included, around 40. And they are emerging from behind trees and out of various covered areas. And there's a chatter of conversation. The mood is quite light.
Children?
Yes.
Old people? Well, sure, I really can't. You probably can't designate what an old lizard
you
folk
can
looks like.
absolutely see that there are children. And as you come in, he says, "Welcome, this is my clutch." And he beckons over to a child.
Why would you introduce us to your children? You're so going to die now.
He beckons over to a child, and a tiny lizard folk comes running up, and he picks him up and says, "Oh, this is my boy." And I've written it down. Hang on. Yes, this is Tusalom. And Tusalom is a fearsome warrior. Is that not right? Yes, father. I am strong and brave like you. And he says, "Who are these?" He says, "These are," and he introduces you. He says, "This is York, a fighter who saved us at Skybridge Pass. This is Neve, a druid and walker of the woods. And this is Iris the traveller who seeks to learn of the great stones that are dotted around." And you are welcomed in. Toothpick vouchers for you, and that is all anybody needs. And they are pressing drink at your hands and beckoning you to come over and sit and chat with them.
Oh, sounds marvellous.
The fair is the fair is really simple. They have they don't have horses.
Yeah,
so
they probably don't know what to do with them.
they're really unsure.
I'll refuse any drink until I've done the horses.
Great. You go and sort the horses out, tie them to a tree, and get them.
Make sure they've got some food and water.
You sort out the horses. Lovely. While that is going on, we're going to cut back to Freya, tied.
No.
You realise you've slept like this, and that's why your arms hurt, because they've been out of position for ages. It's kind of a numbing pain that's going through them. You're stiff, you're exhausted, and you have this still ringing, thumping pain going in your head. And once again, Iska Kurash. And the dog. I say dog. This is a dire wolf.
A dire wolf.
Correct.
Good lord.
Can I have a look around and get a better description of what's going on.
You may take me no check. That's fine. I'll just tell you what you see. Well, maybe a perception check. Let's see how swimming it is.
Sure.
Is it
We'll do that in a second. Yes, it is.
17.
17. Great. Okay, your vision has perfectly come back now. The direwolf pulls away from your face, revealing the rest of the surroundings, and you can see. The first thing you notice is that this direwolf is saddled. It pads over quite heavily.
New pet.
Yeah.
We've already got Lord Tyndall, and you
It's
don't
good.
walk that one.
It's good luck.
So
It pads over quite heavily to a large armoured orc. The orc ruffles its head for a second and scratches under its jaw.
Who's a good boy?
Yoshkarabaga, Dostasa, go ahead. And the direwolf kind of pads off into the distance. You look around. You are in a orc camp. You're in an orc camp. There are tents made out of thick, stiff hide that have been put up. I would give people who have more experience, like camping and doing real things, more information.
No.
Yep, you're in an orc camp.
Noble.
There are strange cloth buildings that are there's a bunch of tents that you can see. There are also maybe it's hard to say. You can see at least 4 orcs, but you can hear more around.
Can I see Fidalgo anywhere?
You cannot see Fidalgo anywhere. You are
Currently what's on the player.
you are in a tent.
They're all going to die.
You are in a tent, and there is a wooden stake that has been hammered into the ground. In fact, it's the middle pole of the tent, and you have been tied to it.
Yeah. Do I still have some of my equipment? Do I have any concealed daggers anywhere which I could attempt to free myself with?
Please roll me a stealth check to have hidden them, and I'll see. They searched you quite thoroughly. Roll me a stealth check.
Oh, 11.
On an 11,
Yeah.
you do not have a dagger on you. Let me have a-
This is a very strange situation for Freya.
Okay, you do have a dagger.
Mm-hmm.
You have a dagger which is in your boot. It is going to be very difficult for you to get to. I'm just saying that's the case. There is a very large orc who is.
Is he inside the tent?
He's in the doorway to the tent, and there are 2 orcs in the tent with you. They're not paying any attention. They're sat there. One of them is picking his fingernails with you're not sure what it is, maybe a bit of bone or something. He's picking at his fingernails.
Right.
These orcs, you notice, all have a red fist emblazoned somewhere on
knew
their
it.
armour.
I was expecting them to be actually red.
There is a
Just a fist.
there is a slight,
Hitting things.
there is a slight shuffling from behind you, and you
What's that?
yeah you can't really turn very much, but you feel now pressing into the small of your back. There is a pair of hands. Hello?
What a previous scenario.
Hello?
Ah,
Who are you?
hello. Ah, Browter. Yeah, this is somebody speaking to you in Browter. You are. Sorry? You say commoner.
Yeah.
Oh, orcs, commoners. Could this day get worse? Oh, thank goodness. I am Mina. Mina Castle of Corith.
Mina.
Corith is a Thaindom. It is the Thaindom. It is north, east. I have map. I have an amazing map that Ash has made, which I have not printed out. This is broadly what the kingdom looks like. I will get a better one for the stream, but for right now, yeah, this is broadly what the kingdom looks like, and Corith is over here.
Whoa, that's a long way.
It is a long way away.
Oh, she's from the nerddom.
She's from the Magic Kingdom, yeah.
How long have you been here? Whatever your name was, Corith.
Mina. Mina is my name.
Mina. How
Yes.
long have you been here, Mina?
I have been here for some time. We are moved quite frequently.
How are we moved?
They take us, and the orc comes in, the big guy, and he turns and says, "No talking." And
In stallion.
he says no talking in Italian.
I don't know.
Okay, so the orc comes up to you and says
Hello.
something.
Buongiorno.
You, he said no talking.
Ave.
He said.
Oh.
Okay, so the lady behind you says, my gracious Lord Vladimir, we are of course. She's saying this in Browser, as far as you're concerned.
Okay.
My gracious Lord Vladimir, we are of course indebted to you for continuing to keep us alive, and I will merely explain the rules of the camp to this young lady, if I may. And Vladimir, for that is his name, goes and grunts. He is. You have no idea. He's a big orc. So much fun having a noble character like. I don't have real world knowledge.
I don't know actual things.
Can I see what
peasants to that.
weapons he's got?
Yeah, you can.
Does he look like a super warrior sort of person, or just I have a random sword?
Does he look like a what? Sorry.
A super warrior person.
Super mega ultra fighter.
He looks so you can actually see, you can compare him to the two orcs that are in the tent. The two orcs that are in the tent, one of them's got a big club,
I see.
and the other one has a very shiny sword, which clearly was not made for him. And yeah, he's taken it off somebody.
Yeah.
This guy, Vladimir, has a big sword that could have been made for him, and he's in fitted armour, and he's also about a head and a half taller than these other two orcs.
Okay.
This is an Orug,
This was some law we got last session.
which you probably would know this. Maybe a nature check is not hard.
17.
So, yeah, fine. Orcs come in three flavours. There are regular orcs,
Yeah.
there are Orugs that are bigger and they're like captains, and then every now and again to an orc tribe there is born a true orc. And they are huge and kind of orcs the size of ogres, and they are super dangerous and super powerful. And sometimes there are more than one true orc, and then interesting things happen, but that's definitely not all that you would have. So, yes, this is an Orug.
Medium-sized.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, orcs are scary enough, and then this is an orc captain, basically. He says, I will come talk after food. You don't understand any of this. Gorshna. Gozgaba. No, sorry. Gozgaba. Good. And he clicks his fingers, and in comes an orc, and he says something to him. He goes off, and he comes back with a bowl of soup. I say soup. It's a kind of a stew.
Mostly piss.
No, it's a stew with some like root vegetables in it, and it smells quite nice actually. It's got some vegetables, and it's also got some like some tough meat in it. And he says, "Eat."
Sure, I'll take the food.
Great. So he feeds you.
Yeah.
The meat is stringy and it tastes weird. It's gamey. It's nothing you've eaten before.
Definitely not human.
But yeah, you take the food, and he says, and he walks off. He says, "You must keep your strength up. We have some way to travel." When he's gone, the two orcs have been told not to let you talk, and they just don't give a shit. They're sat there. They're on guard duty, and they're guarding two. As far as they're concerned, they're guarding two young girls who are tied up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoop. This is worth doing.
Okay, what are the rules of the camp?
Sorry?
What are the rules of the camp?
All right. Do you have a name?
Yes, my name is Lucy.
Lucille.
Lucille.
Oh my goodness, you have more sense than I gave you credit for.
It is nice to meet you, Lucille. Tell me, are you do you have any connections? Is anyone looking for you?
Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I could do with some hope here.
I mean, we don't need hope for others. We can get out of this ourselves. Don't worry about it.
Woo! I've been waiting, just hoping that someone would come along. So, Lucille, the rules of the camp. Firstly, defer to Vladimir and everything. He's a bully, and he loves to be flattered. How good's your orc?
I don't know.
All right. How good's your Estalian?
No.
How good's your Brouter?
It's pretty good. The best.
Well, that's something.
What Brouter?
I'd be able to help and do more if I had my things. If we're going to get out of here, we'll never make it without some kind of a distraction. And you say there are people looking for you?
Yes.
All right.
Freya, who?
All right, I'll tell you what I've managed to learn so far. I've been here about a week and I've done quite a good job, I think. She was quite pleased. You can't see her face, you don't know what she looks like. I think I've done quite a good job of watching the guards to check for changes in patrols, and that's the sort of thing you're supposed to do, right? I've read about that.
Have you made any friends?
No.
Okay. Yes, continue.
Alright, she starts to tell you about the rules of the camp. We'll cut back over here. Yeah, you've been given, they have some mead. Mead? Yep, that's right.
Say no. Beer mead or mead or wine mead?
Wine mead.
Much
They have some wine mead.
Sorry, Dave much prefers wine mead. You're probably prefers beer
And
mead.
they have, they set up a roaring fire. As nicely
Is it
said, this
alcohol?
is. You are sat down and they are telling stories and laughing. And yeah, I mean, everyone seems to be in remarkably good cheer. Their clothes are very simple. The food is very simple. The meat is quite nice. But yeah, there's a couple of lizard folk who are off sparring and practicing over in a corner, and the kids are pulled away at a certain point by someone who you can clearly tell isn't older lizard folk, who sits them down and starts basically make me a insight check, please.
All of us?
No, just Iris. Who's
Can
watching this?
we have the effect of a short rest?
Yes, you absolutely can. Oh, you can affect the long rest.
12. Oh, can I have the effect of a long rest?
12. This is a lesson. They are teaching these kids. It's in lizard folk, but they're clearly doing something, and he's drawing things in the dirt and getting them to raise their hands and ask questions. And yeah, it's surprising how well acclimatized these guys are to living in this wood, because this isn't where they come from.
Lily lived here for a while.
Well, for a little bit, certainly.
I'm gonna bring Lord Tyndall a mug of whatever it is they're selling.
Yeah, Lord Tyndall seems a bit shaken. He gladly takes the mead. Oh, thank you, yes. I say this is rather nice. Yes, I approve.
I want to come and have a chat to Lord Tyndall.
Greetings.
Have you actually?
Tutipet comes and sits down opposite you guys.
Seems like you're a popular man, sir. Have you ever actually fought in a battle before?
Well, I wouldn't say a battle, perhaps a...
Have you ever fought with your life on the line before?
What manner of a question is that to ask a gentleman?
It's the manner of question that you ask a travelling companion when we're going to probably have to fight for our lives on a regular basis, and I need to know whether I can rely on you.
I will not have my honour impugned, he says. I may not be the greatest swordsman in all of Krassos, but I tell you, I will fight with the heart of a lion and the soul of a true warrior. You need not fear with me by your side that I shall desert you or abandon you.
Good. And then I'll see you in the morning and we can get some sparring done.
Yes. Jolly good. More mead. Anyone more mead?
Tyndall.
Yes. My dear.
What exactly is the arrangement with you and Darius?
Your queen's back in.
How certain are we that we will not be found here?
Very certain. You're among friends. You can speak freely.
Yes. Sir Darius is, he's a protector of sorts. My father has arranged for him to be with me at all times.
At all times.
At all times.
For why?
For my protection, of course.
You say protector, I hear guard, possibly warden.
I'm sure he would not object to these terms.
But for why? Why is it so important that you be kept under lock and key like this?
Well, I've never... Perhaps I have not been the most diligent of sons. The most dutiful. The most... I haven't always stayed in one place. And I have a wanderlust and a keen desire to travel and see the world. And
How do we find two of them in the space of like a week?
They really are perfect for each other.
Really actually are.
it's been... My father has realised that my responsibilities are better served with someone like Sir Darius to keep me on the true path. And yes, he does. Sleeps in the same room as me, don't you know? Follows me to the restroom. I have known Sir Darius by my side, a loyal and true companion for nearing 5 years now. In fact, this is
Sounds like a dickhead.
one of the first times I've had in a very long time without him over my shoulder. He looks. So to new freedoms. Long may they continue.
Indeed. I'll drink to that.
Oh, yeah. You pass the evening with the lizard folk. They are happy to talk to you, and they all speak perfect Estalian. So if you want to have a chat with them about any subject at all, they are very keen to. Some of them come and talk to you, and they talk to you about the battles that you've been in, and Skybridge Pass, and well, they try and talk to you about Skybridge Pass.
You're probably reasonably open about every other topic except Skybridge.
Sweet, no problems. Well, then they will... okay, so one of them, who's had a little too much mead, says,
You must tell us, it must have been a glorious battle. You were outnumbered 3-4 to 1?
and two of his friends are saying something in lizard folk to him and pulling him away. He's saying,
How many battles have you
2.
been? Battles aren't glorious. They're full of shit, blood, and dying and screaming. And that's if you're winning. Battles aren't glorious. They're something to be survived if you're lucky. And you're just going to wander away and find another drink.
sure. Tutapek comes over and he claps the soldier who rolled a nat 1 on his inside check. He claps him on the shoulder and he says something to him, and he turns and says to his men in Estalian, he says,
Battles are glorious, and to fight is a true honor. To defend your folk and your family is the greatest thing you can know as a warrior. But it is true that they exact a terrible price. We do them because we must, not because we wish to.
That's
Well
what-
done, politician.
That's what he does.
This is the difference between an officer and a soul.
Battles are terrible. Oh, morale in the camp is going down. You say.
I'll
This
be-
Browser being around is just like being a -1 to morale over time. It's not good.
I'll be asking around. I want to know about the ziggurat in the Lake of Tears.
Yep.
If there's are there any artists, any particularly skilled
Greetings,
artists who might be able
I'd
to
like to talk
do a
about my
sketch of
plot.
it.
Yeah. So
and any other, because if they've been here for a while, any other standing stones in the area.
okay. So these guys have been here for a little bit. One of them draws you a picture of the ziggurat. And it looks like it looks like a stepped pyramid.
Artist looking at my
That
caving.
is coming out of the water. It's going to be drawn. And they talk to you about it, and they say that there are.
Yes, there are special days, of course. It is a great place of celebration. It is just beyond the Golden Temple.
And
Golden Temple.
Yes,
they are. So they infuse sort of nostalgically. This is the time when you actually see them looking a bit sad when they're talking about the Lake of Tears. These guys are. I mean, you're not entirely certain exactly what the word is. Refugees, maybe. They're living in exile. They are all, it transpires, related to the Prince Tuxpac. They are his. They use the terms clutch and brood, and they are. Yeah, they have fled the Lake of Tears.
And remember, chat, if we've learned anything about incest, it's that it's okay if you like the people involved. But as soon as they're bad people, no bad.
Who built the ziggurat?
it has stood since we have been there. It is.
Has it been sunken since they've been there?
No, it is coming out of the water. There is some of it under the water.
Yes.
I'm on it. You're with your other campaign that we
Yes, I
played
know.
in.
I'm sorry. I've
That's-
been to
That's
the
fine.
Lake of Tears before.
Amy using her super secret squirrel knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, and
It's covered in glyphs. The priests can make them glow, and they tell stories, they sing songs, and they have great festivals around the ziggurat. It is a holy place.
I see. And have you seen any other stones with glyphs on in this area?
There are others in the Lake of Tears.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
And we have not, but perhaps the dwarf traders to the north would be able to tell you.
and someone claps him on the shoulder and says something.
The elves, there is an elven commune.
Okay. Where?
It's, between here and the Lake of Tears, heading up. It's not too far away.
Sort of here-ish on that.
Oh, I'll show you on the map.
Oh.
On map, it is. Oh, not that one. Oh, okay, why not that one? Here we go. So you are about here on the map.
Yep.
And the Elven commune they point to, they say it's around here. On the map. It's sort of on your way.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's the. They say they might have heard of. In fact, they would have heard because they live much more locally than these guys. These guys have moved in. They've been here for I don't know, maybe a month.
Okay. And have you? Unlikely, but have you come across a dwarf with flaming hair?
No. We have not a great deal of contact with dwarves, but the river dwarves will be able to tell you.
And where are the river dwarfs?
They patrol the Ellesmere. They have trading posts.
Okay.
That sounds like we might be able to get a lift down
Yeah.
where we need to go.
Trading dwarfs.
They will definitely have boats. They chart the passage all across.
Good. These are the lines of conversation I'm assuming.
Sweet. You discover all that. You rest. Gain the benefits of a full rest.
Returning favour.
We'll come to this.
I did the axe. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come to that. But I want to go right now to
That's it. Oh yeah.
Freya. You've had Mina has done a not terrible job from someone who has read about this in like fiction about what you're supposed to do. Mina, yeah, she keeps referencing her. She keeps referencing books that she's read, which is surprising. She's really quite well read, and she keeps referencing. Oh yes, it's just like the time when the lady. It doesn't matter. There are some of it is factual and some of it is clearly fiction, and she knows the difference. But she goes, "Yes, so I've counted. I believe that there are 12 orcs in this travelling party. Vladimir is their leader. They are a scouting group roaming around looking for, well, I suppose people like us. They're going to take us back, and I don't like to think exactly what's going to happen to us when we get to the main encampment. These tents move.
The tents move?
They pack down the entire camp every night, and they make us walk. They wouldn't make us walk.
Can you fight? No.
I am not without skills, but I am entirely dependent on all of my gear.
What is your gear?
I have a large bag and several books that will need to be recovered.
Do you know where they are?
I imagine they'll be kept in the tent with all of the equipment unless they've been burned. And I sincerely hope they haven't, because I have some... She stops.
Okay. Okay. In our tent, is there anywhere that someone could conceal themselves? Like in a chest or under a blanket?
Put the wizard in a fucking box. There we go.
Okay, so you're in it. It's a really... it's a round tent with a fairly high roof. Is there any way you can conceal yourself? Well, the tent is made up of sheets of hide that are layered together, so you could
just
hide
go
behind
under
one of
the
them.
sheet.
You could, as in, you could hide behind one of them, I guess.
But could you just slide out?
There's no floor to this tent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you go under? Yeah, you could.
Okay. Well, Mina, do you have anything that could help us out of these findings?
In my bag.
Oh, this is not useful information. Okay.
Vladimir comes in, and you've been chatting for a while. Vladimir comes in and he says, "Enough. Now, it's time we move." And he takes you can see the tent is starting to be taken down. There are, Mina was exactly right. There are 12 orcs, and they are packing this tent down.
If there's any moment where no one is watching me, I'm going to try and grab something sharp.
Okay. Mina has explained to you also that your manacles, the keys to your manacles...
Oh, they're steel.
They are, yeah. The keys to your manacles are on Vladimir's... Vladimir has them, and he has them on him.
Oh, no.
Sorry, the jailer in this dungeon is not half blind and drunk. Wearing those convenient full-face helmets to conceal your identity.
Yeah, so they take you wait, and these orcs are good. They're a military unit, and they don't give you an opportunity. They don't give you an opportunity. So the 12 orcs, tent by tent, pack them down, and these things fall down really small. There are 5 large stakes that are the centre poles for each tent. Those are piled onto the back of a wagon. The cloths are put onto the wagon as well, and then the orcs come. An orc holds you, an orc holds Mina, and then they, while they remove your tent pole, your manacles are still behind your back, and they...
I'm going to try and trip up the orc and grab... does he have a dagger or anything like that?
Yeah, he does. He's got a dagger. There are lots of orcs around.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can, by all means, make the attempt. But I'm telling you that there are lots of orcs
Yeah,
around.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
No.
When you, the tents come down, and you look around and you see that there's a whole bunch of orcs. There's a wagon, which is being pulled by like a big boar thing. It's like a giant boar that is pulling this wagon. There's the direwolf. And no other animals around.
Okay.
By the base of the fire, you can see the carcass of a horse.
Is it Fidalgo?
It is.
Oh my god!
At
Vengeance!
this point, that Freya becomes a
Right.
barbarian.
You have eaten your own horse.
Why would you do this?
Because she missed a session.
That's it.
How else will she learn?
Mina, you can see now. Mina
So-
is a
If you're fond of Iris, Amy, you'll make every session.
Wait, what?
Mina is a bookish. She's got quite long but really unkempt now, dirty blonde hair. She is quite small and has the physique of someone who spends a lot of time. Actually, no, that's not true at all. She looks like someone who has recently gone through a lot of exercise. So she's got stretch marks around her new muscles, and she is,
John Royce. She's on the Imprisoned by Orcs exercise program.
more or less.
Military fitness?
And she says, "Okay, here we go. It's going to be fine. Just tiring. Keep an eye out if you can see a large brown satchel and 2 books. It's very important." She says to you. Take a perception check. 13. As they are moving the camp, you see put into the wagon there are a bunch of sacks, and one of them is a large brown satchel and a pair of books. There's also a handful of weapons that are thrown on, including all the things that you had on you. So your daggers, your thieves' tools, all that stuff is.
How much metal is one small woman carrying?
It's all scattered. It's not in one place, but it's all been thrown into the back of this wagon.
Okay.
And then the wagon moves off. All of the orcs are moving, and you have 2 orcs behind you and 2 orcs to your side, and it's you and Mina. And they are, they're not making it easy. And they are poking you with the one with the club. He says, "Goshtana, Gargaraba, Gargaraba, Goshtana."
Alright, I'll go. Jesus Christ.
They put you through a pretty grueling pace. And it's a warm day, and they don't relent. These guys are doing forced marching, and they go for 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles. You've been marching for 6 hours, maybe? You're exhausted.
What Josh is saying is, please make a con save.
Make me an athletics check, in fact.
Oh, that's even worse. oh dear.
Oh, no, athletics.
Yes. Yeah, not acrobatics.
You can't backflip your way through miles of open terrain.
I mean, you can, it's not very long. That was, you drop the dice, roll the dice.
Roll it again.
Roll the dice, roll the dice.
Dice,
Roll the
dice on the
dice.
floor, dead dice.
3.
3!
It's not a natural 1, Josh. It's not a natural 1.
You are exhausted.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Exhausted captain?
Like mechanically.
Yeah, I was going to say. is that-
Mechanically exhausted.
What
You
does this
gain a
do?
level of exhaustion. All your skill checks are made with disadvantage.
Ugh.
If you gain 5 levels of exhaustion, you die.
What's the worst that could happen? It's not
So
another
you know
going to be.
next time when you're asked to make an athletics check, and that's a skill check, which you'll now have disadvantage on.
That's correct.
That's what
Well-
I want.
But yeah, you are
What are the
pushed at a
chances?
grueling pace. Freya, your clothes stick to your back. It is a hot day. You are dripping with sweat by the time you get there. Mina is not faring much better than you, but she's at least prepared for this. And these orcs just don't seem to stop. They just go and go and go and go. And you can see that they are approaching a river. And the river that they come to has a jetty. At which is docked a ship. And it's a small river.
Got the ship. Been needing to make an appointment with him.
There's a small river barge. And Mina says, I suppose this is where they're taking us. I'm going to sail us north, get us on the Ellesmere, and take us down to their main camp. Well, there goes my mission. There goes our chance of success. I was so hopeful when you arrived.
What's your mission?
may as well tell you now. I'm a treasure hunter.
Oh.
And there is a booming from off in the distance. We'll come back to you in just a second. Back over here, you've had a full night's rest. You have had a long rest.
We wanted to do something before we went to bed.
In the morning, you are.
I will.
Fine. Do it before you get there. Whatever.
Sorry, yeah. Do this first because I have a thing I want to do with Tyndall first.
Is this all before the?
No. This is after we. This is in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah. It did something weird back at the bridge. Well, weirder than. It did something more weird back at the bridge. Like, do either of you have like a thing that can do magic to find out more about it or anything like that?
I can try.
Because.
So you are sat down and you hold out a axe, which is still faintly sparkling. Yeah.
Amy, what I'm asking is, do you have the identity?
Identify.
You do not.
I do not, apparently. I have detect magic, so I can sort of tell you, like, the
That
vague...
it is magical.
I can tell you the vague kind of magic that it is, but I don't think that's going to do you a lot of
When you
good.
pull your axe out, the lizard folk are very impressed.
Shiny.
You get a lot of people gathering around, and the kids in particular, their eyes go huge. And they
Be
come up.
careful of the edge on that. That's you'll
Yeah, you've got a little crowd surrounding you, and someone leans in and says,
This is a very rare artifact.
Okay.
Where'd you get this? It has the mark of Lancelot.
I was told to take it from its resting place, somewhere to the southeast. It was.
So Iris, you are sat down, and when you approach the axe and put your hand on the haft, in fact, just putting your hand towards it, you feel a very strange sensation. It's like there's a recognition there, and you grab it, and you are suddenly blasted with images, and you can see there is an old, tough as teak elf, and she has grey hair which has been buzz cut, so she's got a little bit of stubble, and she is hammering away with a clearly magical hammer on a piece of metal in a forge, and then she plunges it into a bucket, comes and she layers some strips around it, and she starts hammering those strips into the metal, and she's singing as she does it, and you can hear the sound of pained cries from around her. You can't quite see what they are, and she turns and looks at you dead in the eyes. She says, "This is the axe that I am making for Lancelot. He will need it in the fights to come. I will arm them all. This will be thunder. There are others, and with luck we will win. I pray that we do."
Who are you?
Vision's gone.
I'd relay this to York. The elf with the buzz cut hair, female elf forging weapons for all of them. I assume she meant all of the gods for the battle ahead, and this is
Right.
I will use a level 1 spell slot to cast.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But you did that last night, so you recovered it.
Yeah, that was it. Does it do anything else funky apart from mere plus 1?
Right, so this axe be a +1 axe that you know for the identify spell, and what you also know is that it will yeah, you just have the innate knowledge of this now. You pick it up and you know Lancelot could wield this axe with astounding effects, but it was made for him. So you'd need to thoroughly attune yourself to this axe through time and use to get those up again. You are sure that as well as being a magical axe which has bonuses to hit, it swings with unerring accuracy, that there are 4 other things this axe can do, but
I'm not sure what.
Jorg hasn't unlocked them yet.
Okay, I will again relay this. So maybe with time and practice and prayer.
I'm putting it down. Still getting around that one.
Okay. So yeah, the lizard folk are dead in
snorts into her porridge and has to clear herself up.
And in the morning, Tutapek says,
Friends, we will split our forces. Some of us must look after the young ones, of course, but we will lead a party to Elaine's Hollow to see if we can find it and find Corcarel.
they've spoken about this now, and yeah, when he says Corcarel, there's some looks of suspicion and distrust. No one's sure what's going on in the lizard folk camp, because they all thought she was dead. Everyone thought Corcarel was gone.
However, I still owe you a debt, and I will lead you north and take you, if you wish, to the elven...
I think the word he's looking for is kibbutz, but they just don't have that word.
Once we are done at the well source to the north, it is certainly my intention. I hope people will come with me to go to Elaine's Hollow myself. I will not allow it to be defiled by this Corcarel. But this well source needs to be dealt with now.
Then we look forward to your company there.
He chats to his people, and they start divvying up roles and working out exactly how they're going to do this. But
if we find Corcarel before you,
Yes,
what should we do with her?
bring her here, if she will come.
And if not?
Then tell us of what she said.
yeah, this is the sister of the queen. Everyone thought she was dead. No one knows quite what has happened.
Relatively early on in the morning, I'm going to have gone and found Lord Tyndall with a mug of water and a pair of lengths of wood.
Yes!
I assume his lordship is asleep.
He is very much asleep.
I will.
I know this is a great scene. I'm going to come to it in a second, but I'm
That's
going to
fine.
go
No,
to Freya first.
no,
Yes,
absolutely.
cool.
Oh yes, I might lead nicely into this. I've come to the scouts who have come back first thing and asked if they've spotted Freya.
Freya, because asynchronous timelines ain't that fun.
Yeah.
You do this to yourself, Josh.
I am aware. This was the decision I was referring to.
I mean, I appreciate that you
Freya.
need to make an example.
That is not what this is.
Mostly of Hidalgo.
Yeah, Freya,
Delicious Hidalgo.
you are being.
Stringy.
They've got a gangplank down to the ship, and they are about to load up, and you hear this booming sound coming from off in the tree line, and it's a sound that goes.
No.
Practice and a pair of ogres come charging out of the tree line towards the group of orcs. The orcs are immediately on alert. You can see that there is an orc who is on the ship, and the 12 that are here, so it's 13 orcs that you can see in total. But suddenly there's 2 charging ogres coming in. You actually don't understand what they're saying because you don't speak Estalian at all. So there's 2 ogres coming in, swinging clubs above their heads. I get the gist.
They're repeating the same word over and over again.
And the orcs turn and draw weapons, and Mina looks at you.
All right. Are there any orcs who have a secondary weapon which they're not holding in their hand?
Most of them.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to wait until the ogres are a bit closer, and then I'm going to try and grab a knife.
Okay, so the ogres come barreling in towards you, and Vladimir takes charge, which is his job. He runs and he grabs Iska, his direwolf, and he gets on to her. And
Lights off.
This is
Fuck
your
this.
problem.
No, he gets on to her. Bye. And he says to the two orcs who are by you, he says, get them on the gate, get them onto the boat. That's fine. Well, he shouts something at those two, and
Yeah. Straight away, I am attempting to trip up and grab a weapon off of the closest one.
Amazing. Please make me a sleight of hand check at disadvantage.
Oh, damn.
Exhausted.
And again?
Well,
It's opposed.
Well-
so we'll see how we go.
3 is a 3, but still roll
I
again.
need
It could get worse. Oh, natural 20s. Do they
Disadvantage.
override?
No,
But
disadvantage.
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 Oh!
That's a lost natural 20.
Ah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that
on,
causes me physical pain.
so on an 8, don't be exhausted. Okay, on an 8,
It's okay. It's okay.
what's going to happen is you. Okay, so Mina, you see, as you go to get a blade, the orc turns and is about to have a go at you, and Mina shouts something at him, and his face sours, and he turns and looks at her. You draw his sword. You are holding it. It's a short sword that you are holding.
Okay.
Your hands are manacled, but you
Yeah.
are now holding a short sword.
Okay, where's the wagon?
The wagon is over close to the ship. They're about to load all the things onto it.
Okay,
It's not up the gangplank yet.
alright. And it's just 2 orcs directly around us?
There's 2 orcs next to you, one on each of you. The rest of them have run off to deal with these ogres. You look and you see these ogres have charged in. Some of the orcs have loosed crossbow bolts at them.
Yeah.
And the ogres are now shouting different things.
Okay.
Bastards!
The orc who is disarmed, I'm going to try and stab him one.
Okay, so you've drawn his short sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, make me an attack.
Feels like
So he looks at you, somewhat perplexed, and you stab him, looking directly at him.
Yeah.
So, blam!
that's got to be with flanking. Though.
Sorry?
Is this with disadvantage as well?
No, it's not with disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He's been flanked by.
Mina is aiding you. You have the
Yeah.
advantage. So roll with advantage.
So roll with advantage and sneak attack. So the first one's 11.
14.
14 hits.
And
Okay, so the first one was an 11, so it's definitely not a 14, but you still hit. So
Would it be a roll from damage?
yes, but it's plus your roll down.
Roll down.
Roll
Do that.
definitely hit it. Just hold on a second.
6 plus sneak attack.
So 12
Plus
because plus dex because so next
12 damage. Wow. Okay. Yeah. You. Oh, the orc. You stab him, and he. And the other orc is gonna make a go for you. You've given yourself a moment, an opportunity. What do you do?
I'm going to parry whatever the other orc is doing.
Okay. So yeah, the other orc is reaching down to try and grab Mina.
I'm grabbing. I'm going to cut his arm off.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Make me an opposed attack check, please.
Okay, so it's plus 3, so it's 16,
Yeah.
then plus 2 puts you to 18 because you have.
Okay, on an 18.
Oh, okay.
On an 18, yeah, you reach in, you see he reaches into Mina, so you pull the blade out of one of the orcs, you stabbed it, backed away, turn, and you swing up as the other one reaches in for Mina, and there's a whooshunk, and you cut 3 of his fingers off.
Oh.
He shrieks in pain and backs away. Mina, no grabbing. He's grabbing his hand. The other orc is reaching for a second sword. He's grievously injured, but he's reaching for a blade
He's
now.
reaching for a blade. I'm going to stab him again.
Okay, this is going to be post initiative checks, please. You're probably better than this.
6.
Right, no, you're not better than this. So you both stab each other. You run. You run in. whatever damage you roll is going to be enough to finish this orc. But he is going to do you 3 points of damage.
3 points of spite damage.
Yeah, so you have, that was amazing. Mina looks at you and she goes, that was incredible. You drew an orc's blade, stabbed him, cut the fingers off his friend, then finished off the
How's
first
the
orc.
friend doing?
He's grabbing at his
I'm
stump
just going to give
fingers.
him a look that says, don't fucking mess with me anymore, and we ain't going to go to the wagon.
You're running to the wagon. Okay, great. So Mina hustles on after you. You hear that there is shouting. I mean, there is combat happening now. In fact, an orc. Take me a dexterity saving throw.
To avoid low-flying orc.
Do I just add 2?
Okay, so you add
Okay,
2
so-
from that, and so it's 5. So you're proficient in it.
19.
And
19. On a 19, not only do you duck, but you push Mina down as an orc goes woof and flies overhead.
Cool.
And in fact, the orc flies overhead and he lands into in the back of the wagon and then falls down on his front off the wagon.
Okay.
But this has spooked the boar thing, so which starts to move. It's not running, but it's started to move. It's gone. It's got a big heavy wagon attached to it.
Can I get in the wagon?
out of there. Yeah, right.
Yes, you can get in the wagon.
Alright.
Okay, so you run and get into the wagon. Mina is struggling to catch up.
Oh, come on, Mina.
Okay, so
I'll attempt to aid her into the back of the wagon.
okay, you grab her and you start to pull her up when an orc comes running over and grabs her and starts to try and pull her back.
Alright, I'm going to stab this fucking thing. I'm going to jump off the wagon. I'm going to do a flip. I'm going to stab him right in the...
Okay, make me
wherever I can see him.
make me an acrobatics check, please.
With disadvantage for exhaustion?
Yes, thank you.
Oh.
12.
12 with disadvantage
Oh,
is
wow.
pretty great. Okay, so
Plus
On a
5.
So,
fine.
having stabbed an orc, severed some fingers, jumped onto a wagon, ducked a flying orc, you see that there's someone comes and grabs Mina by the waist, so you front flip, exhausted as you are, over both of them. You don't even look, it's just a cha into the orc that's going for Mina. The orc snarls at you and misses you with his backhand as he comes round. Would you like to... he looks at you utterly confused. You're going through these orcs like a hot knife through thin ice. And another one goes... Woof. You see, one of the ogres has fallen.
Oh, okay.
Practice!
Probably not our practice.
Okay, so are we relatively okay just for the next 10 seconds next to the wagon?
No,
Orc is still up.
crazy battle going everywhere.
These
Okay,
are rare
I'm gonna-
ogres. They shouldn't be
Can I
being
see
killed.
the satchel, which is Mina's stuff?
It's in there somewhere.
You
I'm gonna
are
try and-
you are still fighting an orc.
Yeah.
on the back.
Okay.
Like, you haven't killed it yet, so you still need to kill it.
Alright.
Well, you don't have to kill it.
Mina,
Negotiate
look
with
for
your-
your fucking shit in the wagon.
Look through your stuff in the wagon.
Yes, and I'm gonna
Do you have a-
attack the orc.
Alright, the orc looks at you. Now would be a good time for a one-liner, but you're like, I don't speak orc. And,
Pretty good as one-liners go.
yeah,
Awkward.
yeah, you realise, in fact, when you say, I don't speak orc, the orc looks at you slightly bemused, and in that beat that the action takes, you slip in and attack alone, with no obvious means of doing so, but with enough advantage to get yourself a sneak attack.
Nice.
You dispatch the orc, who falls off the end of your blade. Mina scurries up and into the wagon. You hop up alongside her, and she turns and says, "We've got to get out of here."
Correct. I need some keys from this wagon. Can you, if you found your stuff, can you help me look for the keys quickly?
The keys are on Vladimir.
Drive the wagon out. Just drive the wagon out of there.
Ah,
We can sort the miracles out later. Just
The
run.
boar is not going to outrun a direwolf, though. A
It's true.
boar
Depends how hard
towing
you
a wagon.
depends how hard you poke it.
Are there
And
any?
where?
These, I mean, yeah. You
Right,
can
so I
see the
assume
battle is.
Vladimir is fighting the remaining.
He's
ogre.
busy doing that.
How many other orcs are still up?
7.
Ride
Go,
away.
go, run.
Ride
How big is the
away.
boat?
Oh my
I love Freya. She's like,
Okay, how big is the boat?
wagon. The boat, however.
Yeah, exactly.
The boat is big. It's like a
Oh
river
my
boat.
god, yeah, ride it onto
It's
the
not
boat.
that big.
You could get the wagon on the boat.
I don't need the wagon anymore. I'm just going to go
Well,
onto
you're
the
stuck
boat.
in
There's
it.
one orc on the boat that
That you can see.
Okay, let's get on the boat, fight that
Okay,
orc.
the orc has a crossbow out.
I'm going to charge him.
Okay, so the wagon is actually now parallel to the boat, so you can either try and jump from the wagon onto the boat, or you can get off and run up the gangplank.
I'm going to jump.
Sweet, make me a disadvantaged acrobatics check, please.
10.
Okay, on a 10, haha, you leap at the orc and manage to cling on by your fingers to the side of the boat.
Yeah.
The boat is steady enough. Mina looks at you. What are you doing? And yeah, what are you doing? She says.
Technically known as
How do I get the lead out? I'm going to hoist myself up.
Okay.
How far away is the orc?
You hoist yourself up, and you see a loaded crossbow pointed
I'm
at
going
you.
to go dodge to the side a little bit if I can. And try and
Make me a
kick
dexterity saving throw, please.
him. 18.
18. Okay, there's a twang, and the crossbow misses you by less than an inch, flows straight past you, and sticks into the side of the boar, which gives a squeal and starts running. I say running as fast as a boar can go.
Mina, jump off!
Mina, my things! So she starts rummaging around in the
Oh god.
in the cart. Meanwhile, this orc reaches down, draws a cutlass, and you've swung around, just still hanging off the side of the boat, and he takes a swing at you. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna attempt to hoist myself up again and just kick him and try and knock him off balance before he.
Okay,
goes.
acrobatics check, please. You're at disadvantage, but it's opposed.
What's that? 16.
16 with disadvantage.
Yes. Plus 7.
This is
Just absurd.
This is
Okay,
what rogue expertise and acrobatics will get you, ladies and
so
gentlemen.
you swing yourself up, and in a spiraling arc with 2 feet, as the orc swings down at you, you disappear, appear behind him, and your feet kick him off the side of the boat. There's a Gushna! And he lands in the river. There is. Take a perception check, please. Not a disadvantage.
6.
6. Right. You have no idea. You think there is at least one more orc under the below decks.
I'm gonna try and start getting the ropes off the boat, unmooring it. I don't know what the verb is.
Yeah, you pick up the cutlass and you go. Choo, 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 choo.
Yeah.
Yep. You start cutting along. The boat starts to drift off down the river. Vladimir shouts something. Mina
You know
says.
what, it's worth it to piss off Vlad.
Vladimir shouts something, and you see the ogre pick up his the ogre that was with him, put an arm around his shoulder, and starts to limp away from the orcs. The orcs are not interested in carrying on this fight. They certainly didn't start it, and so
Neither did the ogres.
four of them go just following the ogres, making sure that they go. Vladimir turns around, he sees the boat has started to drift away, and he charges back with his direwolf. The other orcs are running, but they're not as fast as he is. Mina is there, and she gets out the back of the wagon, she goes, I found it! I found my things! And
Come on, Mina!
okay, the gangplank is slipping off the edge of the boat, so Mina is going to attempt to run and get onto the boat. That's not horrible. Okay, I need you to make me a acrobatics check at disadvantage to reach out and grab her.
Yes.
17.
Okay, so Mina runs up the gangplank and gets about 4 paces before it slips off the edge of the boat, and her last one, she goes and you grab her hand, she slams heavily into the side of the boat, and you pull her back onto the deck. The boat is properly being taken away down the river now.
Right, Mina, can you try and pilot or whatever the verb is for this boat?
She runs over and has a look at the steering wheel.
I'm going to search the rest of the boat and see if we're...
Okay, well, you have company because there are 2 orcs coming out of the below decks.
I see.
And yeah, these 2 orcs are dressed like sailors. The boat has pulled away. Let's see how far it's pulled away.
People sailors or
sailors.
actual sailors?
Like
Are they armed?
actual sailors, but they armed. They have clubs by their side that they haven't yet drawn. They've come out to see what's going on because the boat has started moving.
I'm gonna try and motion them to jump off the boat.
Make me an intimidate check at disadvantage.
Oh dear.
Your choices are a 16 or a nat 20.
21.
You know what? You're somewhat polar in your dice roll.
These two come
Apparently, when you're at disadvantage, you roll like a boss.
These two come up. They reach for their clubs, and you go point at them with a cutlass and gesture them off the boat. There's like no easy way for them to go off, but you point at them and they go. So they one of them certainly does. Both orcs turn and dive off the boat. Splash, splash, and the boat starts sailing away.
Caribbean.
Since somebody got a swashbuckling.
That's fantastic. The boat starts drifting off upriver. Mina on the boat looks as Vladimir sort of runs alongside the river boat with his direwolf for a while, and then he stops, furiously wheels it around, and goes back to the orc because there's no way for him to get on. Would you please gain me? Go to level 3. Gain
The most fitting specialisation.
Gain the swashbuckler archetype.
Oh my god.
And we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a little bit. Thank you very much.
Right.
And we are miking up.
Oh, miking up. Do.
2, 3.
Greetings and salutations,
Who's
chaps.
not on yet? Aha.
Remember, for just $9.99 a month, you too can be part of Paladin Chat. And Elaine can be your god too.
How many takers do you have? None? Oh, that's sad. You put so much money into it.
I bankrupted a small nation for this.
It's a very small nation.
Going back recording.
Yeah, it was sea lice.
Sorry. We didn't stop out. I'll edit that.
I might.
Because I didn't know. Right, does anyone have any fiddly stuff, mechanics, fluff, crunch nonsense they need to do?
I'm doing like my level up.
Fine, so you do your level up. You've got Rakish Audacity, which is so good. What's your charisma score, by the way?
+3, 16.
Yeah, that's exactly the right archetype for you as a rogue.
Yeah.
The Captain Jack Sparrow.
I'm just going to keep this because it works and it's simple, and also I'm not
No.
entirely sure you're
Captain Lucille.
Captain Lucille.
Right.
Oh, I love it. You've already got your pirate nickname.
Oh,
No one's going to fear Captain
Lucille.
Freya. Captain Lucille, on the other hand. Okay, so it's Captain Lucille. Where's the party at? Why is the party gone?
You pinball my bunk.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to open with you approach the sleeping form of Tyndall.
I am going to.
He's snoring very gently.
I'm going to put a hand on his shoulder and very sort of gently to begin with, but depending on how.
Yes, Darius, I know. I'm getting up.
I am many things, my lord. I am not, however, said Arius.
He looks up. It's not a dream.
No, it's not a dream. You may wish it were in about 10-15 minutes, but we'll see how you go.
Yes, he picks himself up.
Have a drink, sir.
What are you handing?
A tankard of water.
Oh, thank you. Splashes himself a bit and then he drinks it. Blah. I'm awake. One moment. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, he reaches for his things that he doesn't have on him, and he goes, "Yes, I have no mirror or shaving kit. I have no oils. But we make the best we can." He takes a second to smooth his beard down. You know what? I'm fine. Yes.
You'll profit him a length of wood.
He takes the wood from you. He swishes it into the air excitedly.
Have you ever been hit before, my lord?
Well, I thought the point was not to be hit.
Yes, but it's also unavoidable. at some point you're going to get hit.
Well, we shall see about that.
Yes, my lord.
So lesson 1 is just getting hit.
I thought that was my lesson in fencing. Lesson 1 is getting
Like
hit.
learn to take the hits.
Yeah.
It's what I.
Yeah, no, of
it's what I learned in LARP. It's very much a case of you learn to take the hits first.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Lord Tyndall has to do his lesson 1.
Yes.
It's just getting hit.
All right. It's relatively early in the morning, I assume.
Yes.
Some of the lizard folk are up, and they are interested in this. Yeah, very much. Yeah, kind of.
Heck, I am interested in this.
So yeah, one of the kids has gone and woken up some of the other kids, and
I'm
they've
scraping the
gathered
mud
around.
off of my
They're on a
boots.
tree branch overlooking the little clearing that you've taken him to.
Yeah, and
York
I-
isn't in his armor.
York isn't in his armor.
Oh no, actually, I want to teach him to hit people.
yeah.
Yeah, York will be in his armor. Shield.
Tyndall does not have armor.
That is fine. This is how he chooses to fight. This is how I choose to fight. In fact, we'll do that. You don't wear armor, do you?
I have a ceremonial suit.
Well, we'll see if you might want to start wearing armor after.
All right.
Yes, I've come to scrape the mud off my boots, just like at the edge of this clearing.
Well, how hard can it be? He says.
I'm going to hit him in the face. Well, no, I'm going to aim chest, but we'll see how much
You don't need to roll for this.
Okay, that's
You're sparring. I'm not going to make you. You are a trained soldier.
Yeah.
You have been in combat many times,
Yeah.
and you are a level 2 paladin.
Yeah.
He is a level 0
No, he needs to
nobleman.
learn.
You do not need to roll to
Goodness.
engage in combat with
Goodness
this guy.
gracious. Okay. I am not looking to humiliate him. I am not looking to to put him down. I am trying to get across to him how much. I'm trying to get across to him possibly how much he has to learn.
Okay. Yeah. The sparring session lasts probably half an hour of him getting up, saying, lucky strike, lucky strike, let's try again." And after half an hour, he is. Let's see how he endures. Okay. He slams into the dirt again for the umpteenth time. He says, all right, enough. Thank you. So Jorg, I appreciate he doesn't call you so, or he wouldn't do that. Thank you, Jorg. I am grateful. Oh,
You'll cast
For
a
the
cyber left
assistance.
with Kaz and offer him a hand.
he'll take it. He'll get up.
Lay on hands.
Oh, thank you very much. He's. Oh, I say. You glow gently and suffuse him with healing energy. At one point it's fine. He didn't do any actual damage.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
But he is no longer sore all over. And well, thank you, York.
You are welcome. Same time tomorrow, my lord. And York will wander off and go and get some breakfast.
Have some advantage for. Have some inspiration for the.
Some advantage for your breakfast.
No.
Otherwise, I would have not won my breakfast.
Drying muesli or bacon and eggs, man. What a great choice of an inspiration token. Yeah, because of that, because you laid on hands and treated him gently, you think there's a really good chance he's going to be there first thing tomorrow. Willing to actually put in some effort. You're well on your way to having a level 1 fighter.
I'm up for that. You know what? All I want from this is at some point for him to stand to Sir Darius. That's all I want from this. He may not stand for very long, but I want him to stand. That's all.
So Darius, you will not blam.
But I want him to be able to get up. After.
Yeah. Okay. So
Because he now knows how to get hit.
got to get him some hit points. Excellent.
I'm going to beat the hit points into his head 2 by 4. I took the nail out of it. I took one of the nails
I'm
out
going
of
to
it.
beat him in D4 by D4. So, what have we done? We've had eating your own horse. I've named my scenes. Top tip for DMing. Super top tip. Name your scenes. Even if all you have written is the name of your scene, it helps you just so much.
The scene called Zoe Learns Not to.
No, the scene called Eating Your Own Horse was a scene. Pirate Orcs we've had. So, Tutapek has arranged things with his people, and he gives his son a big hug, and he comes to you guys as the morning progresses. Your packs have he says we have some trail rations for you, and I will take you as far as a hill where you can see the Elven Enclave, and then I must return to my people. But you have a friend in Prince Tutebek, and should you need information on the Lake of Tears, should you need assistance in the future, I hope you know you can come to me, as I am certain I could come to you. And he said,
Thank you, Johannes. I wasn't sure what welcome I'd received north of the border, and thank you.
Merrick has always been a friend to my family. And it is a friendship that we cherish. A soldier of Merrick is welcome at our tables. Even if, at the moment, the tables are the floor.
I've eaten off worse.
Me too. So, are we ready?
Yes.
great. And
Josh is like, right, let's get the fucking party back together.
it's going to happen. Tutepek leads the group north. He knows the way he's going, and he takes you from, you see this area here you are in, and you walk for most of a day. In fact, you have a day of travel. Someone roll me a d12, please. In fact, someone roll me
While
two.
we're going, I will have told Tutepek about Sedaris,
Okay.
and that this person is probably abroad somewhere and is probably reasonably angry, and it's probably best to avoid him.
Okay, so Tutepek, as you go, he asks you about your journeys and your travels and what you're doing, and he's very interested, particularly in the poison that might be in the water. He is
No, that's very delicious.
no, indeed. He's aware that he says,
Yes, we have the High Priestess. She blesses the lake, and each new ruler, he commands a new blessing, and the blessing spreads. We understand that we are linked to nature, and that as the waters prosper, so do we prosper, and as the waters are untended, so we stagnate. The new queen, I worry she will not honor the old ways.
I've heard that there is some sort of a rot that has started, even with the white between the scales.
Yes, Garlon's mark.
well, he makes a sign of protect for him, and he says,
We will not dwell on him.
If I can help at all, I will.
Thank you.
you take a brief break for lunch, but your travel passes uneventfully thanks to two perfectly fine rolled d12s. It becomes slightly more hilly because you're in a sort of a flat flat forest, and it becomes it becomes slightly more hilly, and you can see as
Sedaris in the jungle, like
He's got
Schwarzenegger Predator style.
as the day winds down and the sun hangs fat and orange over the landscape, suffusing everything with a pinky glow, you crest a hill, and below you can see a few acres of farmland, and stretching out along the side of a bank of different, like, little mini villages that are spread out. The whole thing is about the area of a town, but it's very rural. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't matter. It's got nature built in around it. And you can see that the stretch of farmlands, there's some farmlands and there are some vineyards that are stretching. In fact, the vineyards are the largest thing that you can see. That's clearly what this place is, what this place does. And he says,
This is the Elven Enclave. You will, I am certain, be able to find more information. I must return to my people, but I will bid you farewell, fair fortune, and if all goes well, I will meet you at the Hollow of Elaine. Safe travels, friends.
And
And
so
you.
Charles to you.
And he turns and leaves. Thank you, Tutapek.
So where are we now on the map?
Over here.
Gotcha.
So we're pretty
So
close
we're
to the source
Pretty
of the
close
well.
to the well source.
But
Maybe a half a day further north, but it's getting dark.
let's venture down to the
I think that's a very good idea.
elf camp.
Yeah, we'll head on down.
Okay.
Well, this is another new one for me. Not met any elves.
Yeah, certainly not.
Not met any elves.
You head on. Jacob is Iris is a half elf.
Yes, I've not met any elves. You've got some elf blood in you. Sure, I've never met an elf.
They look a lot like me.
Pointy ears.
Both of those are pointed.
You make your
Have I
way.
met elves before?
Yeah, some.
Like,
Elves are not common.
Hello!
Elves live.
Half
really-
elf. It's on your character sheet. Suck it up, buttercup.
Elves live.
but also you have not grown up among elves, so
that's
you
true.
won't know anything about their culture and bits and pieces, which I might know.
What do you know about elves? Make a nature check. I'll make this a history check. I'm sure it's the same thing.
Oh,
but-
history. Yes. Oh no.
I wish there was a culture skill. I really do in D&D.
13.
They had enough problems with sprawling skill sets in D&D.
13.
13. Okay. On a 13, elves live very tribally. They are not hostile to outsiders, but they deeply prefer living amongst themselves. It is a rare elf that wants to go and live not with their people. On a 13, what else do you know about elves? You know that they are of... do you know what the bloodlines may... Not on a 13. Okay, that's what you know about elves, that they are, as a rule, hospitable. They will welcome you, and it's part of elven custom that they will make sure that you are cared for if you turn up at their door, because they expect the same in return. It's the law of hospitality.
Yep.
Not wanting
I
to
know
kill
that
this.
sense.
And so one of the greatest sins you can commit is breaching the rules of hospitality. It's the old Greek thing. And you start making your way down. Perception checks, please.
We all get killed with arrows.
Oh, no, 20.
Nat 20. Very nice.
Can we
10.
clear that?
15.
For fuck's sake.
Do you need this one?
I don't. No, I'm going to have to draw this. 15.
Yeah.
Now, who got a nat 20?
Hello.
What did you get?
10.
10. Okay. So, on a 10, what you
What did Tyndall get? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
keep reminding me there.
Thank you, that's fine. Tyndall got an 11. So, Tyndall turns to you and says, well, I wonder what these things are. And he points at the vineyards.
Landmines.
I wonder what these things are. And he points at the vineyards.
It's a vineyard. Or,
Vineyard?
yes. Where they grow grapes to make wine.
Ah, wine trees. Marvellous. Yeah, this is
Mello, sometimes I do forget quite how different a world you live in.
Look, he says, and he turns to you. You know what? It is a novel experience to encounter people from such a vastly different walk of life. I shall teach you this evening, and I shall teach the elves. I shall instruct us all. He says as you're walking down the hill in a dance of the Krassos court.
Sounds marvellous.
You know what?
And every
That's
evening.
That's that is only fair, my lord.
Yeah, so you guys are laughing. Who got the nat 20? Right. On a 15, Neve, there is a strange smell in the air. It's horse. It's not horse. There is a strange smell. It smells kind of sickly and sweet, and it's all a bit. You're not entirely sure what it is. But sickly and sweet is the smell that's coming from this area.
Like illness, like decay.
Yeah, maybe a bit like a bit like fruit that's rotting. And
Good.
Iris, as on a natural 20, you look down and you can't see any elves.
There's no elves here.
What?
You look and you're pretty sure you can't see any movement in the town. There's no movement in the houses. It doesn't look like there's anybody here.
Do it all sets 2 and sets the shield and then
Yeah.
on.
Is that smell? Is the fruit rotting on the vine?
If there's no one here, that would make sense. I'm going to shillelagh up.
Great. You shillelagh up. You make your way down to the bottom of the hill, and you can see that across there's the vineyard, and then there's a little field, and then you can see the village just further on down the lines. But you've got to walk through the vineyard and the field to get there. And the sun is starting to set now. So you've still got light, but everything is long shadows. And that's fine. I'm just saying everything is long shadows and...
All right, non-human.
And a gentle
You're
wind.
in my country now.
Yeah, that's true. Your dog
This has never been your country, Iris.
Oh, not sure that's true. And you see... Alright, I'm going to draw this on the map.
Large ones, so
No, because they
Wait,
permanently stay
am I wrong? Were you...
as far as I can remember.
Alright,
I
guys.
still see the bar.
That's right, don't worry about it. So, you reach... where's the map? Where's visible? It's all visible.
Oh, sorry.
That's good.
That can stay there. 'Cause that's not my track. In fact, it might be worthwhile.
Yes. You reach... This is the line of the fence at the edge of the vineyards. And then there are rows... This is how vineyards do. I know they're not straight like this, but these are rows of vines that are growing around fences. This is difficult terrain, but it is possible. You can go through this. It just costs you half your movement to do so.
Wait, half the movement to go through that.
Sorry, double movement to go
So
through.
each square,
Only
is
that
2
square.
squares is 10 feet of movement.
Yeah.
And so these are rows of vines. There's 3 here. And the smell, now you get down here, is fetid and nasty. You look, can you put yourself somewhere along here? In fact, the gate, there's a set of, there's a gate there, and there's a gate there into the vineyard. This is a big vineyard. It should have a lot of people working it.
You're going to sort of pull people in this general direction towards this gate, so we're further away from the vines if we can.
Well, the vines are all the way across.
The vines are all the way. If the vines are all the way across, then we're you know what? Fine.
Yeah, we're here.
We're
You've got Tinder with you.
yeah.
I've got
Oh, I've got a mini fighter.
Emphasis on...
+1 liability.
Oh no!
Possibly for the duration of this fight, Zoe might control Tendril.
I think that's very reasonable to me. You can... yeah, that's definitely enough. There are... So this is a vineyard. This is all cultivated land. There is a little patch of... This is just earth in which things have been planted.
But not yet.
Tilled earth.
This is tilled earth, that's correct. Which comes down there. And the edge of the field is like so. That's... comes down.
My lord, stay close and don't get separated.
That's what the vineyard
I
looks
don't know what's
like.
going on here.
Deep.
It's uncanny.
Perfect. And there's a... you think you see some slow movement on a natural 20, Iris. You think you see some slow movement that looks a bit elf-like. It looks like an elf moving slowly. It's hard to tell. I know you've got dark vision, but it's still
Yeah, sure.
shadows and difficulty
I'll
moving along the back there.
call out in Estalian. Hi, inside the encampment. We have friends coming seeking shelter.
There is no response.
Okay. Whereabouts did you see the movement?
Gesture in that direction.
I'm going to light that bit of the field up.
with fairy fire. What's the range on fairy fire, please?
With a trebuchet.
Because that's
60 feet.
60 feet. Well, let's have a look and see how far you can go.
J down.
Because you are there, and that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Not quite.
You can move forward and do it.
How much further forward do I need to go?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You need to be in.
I need to be there.
One of those.
Which is fine, because you can go.
Yeah.
1, 2,
So
3,
can
4,
I
5,
move
6.
in and cast fairy fire?
Yep.
Yeah, you can move
Right.
over.
I'm
Movement
gonna-
and action.
I'm going to slip in through the gate here.
Or do you want initiative first?
Fun stuff. No, well, this will trigger initiative.
Okay.
Cool. Yes, I'm going to slip in through the gate here, and in this area.
You probably want to be in this. So that's fine. You'll be away. You can sort of see through these, but like I said, it's dark and it's not fully dark yet. But it's
You can cross
shadows
through
everywhere.
them with 10 feet of movement.
That's correct.
So yeah, this area here, I want to light up with fairy fire.
Okay, can you please show me the area that you are fairy firing?
4x4.
Man, fairy fire is such a good spell.
Very far is pretty good.
1, 2,
It's good about
3,
20 as well.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Less when the sage stuff.
Oh yes, I'm
Well,
sorry. I'm
it's the
sorry,
same goes
chat,
up.
that you can't see this. It's down at the bottom here.
Is it too far?
It's too far.
Well, let's shuffle it up.
If you can pull your map up a little bit.
Yeah, you can see that. There you go.
Oh, it's all right on the main screen. There we go. So yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what I'm hitting. Centering here.
Here.
Okay. Is it a dexterity save? Yeah.
Yes.
DC 13.
Oh, do I not have to roll?
No, they roll.
They roll. DC 13.
Fail. Let's pass.
A lot of dice being rolled here than I'd appreciate most.
Okay. So there is a roof of purple and gold smoke that comes. Some of the grapes on the vines that you can see have withered and dried out, burst, and as they do, there's a poof of purple and gold from them that fills the area. There's a and as it lands, you see it outlines. It lands on some of the creatures that were in the shadows and moving along the vines and
Moving along the vines.
And what you see?
Oh Jesus, we have vine blights.
Yeah, motherfucker. Okay, so what we have is the creature that you saw moving looks a lot like an elf. It looks like an elf that you guys can see that has had things growing in and through it.
Oh.
It is an elf that has strange protrusions growing out of its back and out of its sides, and some of it growing out the side of its face. It looks like the vines have grown into and through this thing. And it looks a little bit like this, if this was more elfin and less covered in nonsense.
Oh boy.
And I will put it on the map for you guys right now. Blah.
Whoa!
Is it large or is it?
No, it's a medium creature. I just have a
No, that's.
I require that base to differentiate it from the other stuff.
That's absolutely fine. I just thought I'd try.
Yep. So there's that. Then there are. You also light up. You're pretty sure there's other things that got out of the way. You saw them briefly illuminated, but there are a couple of little things. There's one there, and there is one there, and they look like tiny little shrubs with faces that you see they turn and click and move, and you can see lit up in the golden purple the black ichor is running straight through them.
Oh.
Can you please all roll me initiative?
Who do you, Tyndall?
Yeah, Tyndall.
15.
What does Tyndall have?
Tyndall currently has +0 to all things. So you get whatever the d20 is.
15.
15, sweet.
18.
He has a short sword, so he will do d6 plus nothing. 18. Okay, so yes, I need to be writing this down. That's how initiative works. Right. What did
I don't wish to concern anybody, but I've got a 17.
a 17? Oh dear. That's what has happened here. I think you're going first.
15.
No, I got an 18.
Okay, so Iris on an 18. York on a
York
17.
is not buffering.
Yeah, the most recent patch dealt with some of those issues.
Neve got a 15.
Yeah.
Okay, what did Tyndall get?
15 as well.
Tyndall got 15 as well. He's going to go after Neve. And let's roll for my dudes. Sweet. So, and lovely. Iris, you are first to act.
Okay, I'm going to move up here, so I've got a good sight of what's going in.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing these things,
Mhm.
I'm going to cast Bless on these three. So everyone except me.
Amazing. Guys, congratulations. You have been
D4.
blessed. Iris holds the stone around her neck and she says something, and you guys feel. Thank you, Tyndall. You blessed Tyndall, not yourself.
He's more likely to need it.
Okay.
Because it adds to saves.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And you feel you have been blessed. You have that bonus to attack rolls and saves. It's pretty awesome. That was Iris. Yorg, you're up. Astonishingly.
I don't know what to do with this information. Right, we are going to.
Take your turn or lose it.
Yeah. I am gonna go.
Turns are
Take the lady's protection. And I'm gonna spellcast onto Tyndall.
Yep. Wow, okay. Yup. Okay. Fantastic. So you say take the lady's protection. You clap your hand on Tyndall and he says, and yes?
No, sorry. Carry on with what you were about to say.
Yep. You place your hand on Tyndall, and as you do, over your arm appears in the air a glittering chalice, which moves with your arm, and it pours over Tyndall, and he has a few little studded sparkles on him. He's not proper shimmering, but he looks like a Twilight vampire.
My lord, stay close, don't get separated. And I'm gonna move in.
Okay, you move in. That's amazing. It's this thing now, and it gets to do all kinds of fun things. So, we're going to go... How fast is it? It's pretty slow. Okay, so this creature, which looks like, now you can see, it's an elf that's kind of fused into the line of vines. It's going to move 1, 2, just down towards you like that. That's what it does. And
does it appear to be slowed at all by the vines? Or is it
no, it does not. In fact, it is moving, and you can see the vines are kind of going through it. It's moving along and through the vines. It doesn't have a problem with it. They're pushing in and out. You can see in one of its empty eye sockets, a vine goes in and then back out through it. This thing is disgusting.
This thing is currently occupying the body of what was once an elf.
Correct. Well, it looks like it's part of the vine. In fact, it's going to do that. And
Are all of the things we can currently see lit up by fairy fire?
Yes.
correct, yes. Everything you can currently see is lit up by fairy fire.
That's casting the light. Can we see anything else in the light that is casting?
Yes, you can. You can see that there is this creature looks like it's, well, in fact, you guys have seen them before. You two have seen this before, and so have you. These are twig blights. These are, yes, twig blights. Needle blights is what they are. And they look,
So they're the things we saw.
they're the things you saw before.
Popping in and out of trees.
Popping in and out of trees. And there is one there. And they do not appear at all slowed by this terrain. So there's one there that you can see, and there's one there that you can see. But now that you're aware of it, it seems like there's skittering and movement coming from in and around the vineyard. You are not alone.
Interesting fights, boys and girls. It's all about the terrain.
100%. Neve.
Pass. Come back to me.
Okay. Neve goes, "Ah," and you are
No,
overcome
the buffering
by
issues
you're
just
overcome by the sort of disgusting nature of this. This is unnatural and aberrant. Tyndall. Yeah, he runs and he stands right next to Yorg. He draws his rapier, holds it, and he says, I meant what I said. I will stay with you. and we will fight these things. And then they go. So the small things that are the small things like this go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Haha! And they are scurrying straight through the vines. In fact, they almost fuse with them and surge along the line of trees. They run down, and they're going to have a scrape at you, Yorg. Oh my god, I crit. Get it. Get it. I might actually do some damage. No, these I was expecting to do 0 damage because they're very weak. But on a crit, you might
Feel this.
emphasis on might. Including your armor, take 2 points of damage.
On a crit.
On a crit. Yeah, they're not right. That's why I was excited when I crit.
This is me. I'm still concerned about everybody else.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This thing's going to come surging down to there. In fact, it's going to go to there as well.
The sound effects.
Comes. Yeah, and the vines are swaying, and now you're here. You can see this fruit is gross. It's dripping with the horrible black, thick bile. They come running in, and then there is a scurrying from the trees. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. To there is where it's going to. 5 is where that one's going to go. This one's going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 come there. And poking out of the hedgerows, you can see there is a. This one comes running in from the darkness, and that one comes over there. And there's movement. There's something else around, but they descend upon your position.
But
with
the one at the back
alarming
hasn't
speed.
moved.
Sorry.
The one at the back.
Move forward a bit.
It did move forward a bit. It's very slow.
Oh, gotcha.
That is what there is on their turn. Iris, you're up. Sorry, Neve, would you like to take a turn?
Yes.
What would you like to do?
The fairy fire little shrub with the
Yep.
face that has run up to me, I'm going to whack it with my shillelagh.
Okay, do so.
Bonk.
Bonk.
With advantage plus a d4.
Not with advantage. Oh, yes.
Yeah, very advantage.
So
Oh
roll
wait,
that
yes,
again.
I roll it again.
And the
That's
other
better.
one as well.
And
Oh no, it's 2d20, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you get?
21.
You hit. Yeah, you really hit.
And I hit it for D8, which is in here somewhere.
Plus 3.
There it is. Yes.
There we go. So yeah, you
9. 9 damage.
okay. You swing in at the thing which
No,
is.
that's magical if it matters, isn't it? Because it's from the shillelagh.
That's fine.
It is
You swing in with the
shillelagh.
shillelagh and you gouge a scraping hole in the pattern of this thing, and it turns at you, and you can see that the black dank ichor runs down it and a little bit drips onto your shillelagh. Shake it off. 9 damage is quite a lot. Yes. Okay, Iris, you're up.
Okay. Right, these are problematic. There's lots of them over here. So I'm going to cast Sleep centered here. So that's the center of it. So anything within 20.
Okay.
That's 16. That's another 15. 31 HP's worth of stuff within 4 squares. Then 20 of this point.
Yeah.
Starting with the lowest HP.
How many hit points? were these?
31.
31. Okay.
Well.
Within 4 squares.
I'm actually genuinely surprised if these things are effective.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, they don't have a condition immunity. They can't be blinded. Can't be deafened. I can't see how.
Then they.
Then they do. I
Then
think
they are
so.
blind.
Okay.
Oh shit! I was.
I mean, eventually, it's going to not work on something.
No. It's going to not work on something, and it's going to nearly get you killed as a result. But
Okay. On a 31, what happens here? This is fun. You cast sleep, and they appear to merge back into the vines.
So we can't see them anymore.
While motionless, they are indistinguishable from plant surroundings. Cool.
smooth. I like it a lot.
Yeah, you cast sleep, and 3 of them meld
Went
away.
into hibernation.
Good job. You disgusting sleep spell. You're up.
Iris, close up, stay with the rest.
Come on, big thing, get closer. You're really good at things.
Close up and stay with the rest of us. I'm going to drop an axe into the orange guy.
Yep, with advantage.
How wounded is the other one looking?
Very.
Kill the wounded.
Says the paladin.
Advantage.
Your
Your advantage.
advantage and bless, and you basically pass.
Yeah, many. Like 21 on the dice.
Great,
before I add
13 is your
modifier.
AC.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely hit that. And we're looking at.
What's your strength mod?
+4.
Gone.
Cool. That's all I wanted.
Blam! Yeah. So you say, Iris, stick with us, and you smash into this thing, and you just smash it to pieces. There's like it's like a piece of old bark that you whack into a brick wall, and it just crumples into dust and bits of wood on the floor. That was Yorg. Now this.
I don't remember where the things were. They were something like that.
All right, now we can do this. Here we go.
No, I don't like words like that.
I'm gonna go.
No, be gentle, Mr. GM.
Hell yeah. Would you like? Not really. Let's go with who's there? Stupid Iris, come closer. York.
Yes.
This thing you see, you wouldn't be able to see this, but that it's lit with fairy fire. It takes its horrible twisted hands, and now you can see all the bones are snapped and warped around these vines. It stuffs its hand into the wall of vines, and vines burst out of the wall next to you and lash around you, trying to pull you in. What is your AC, please?
My AC is 18.
Yeah, take it. Would you like to take? It's so good. 8, 9, 10. 7 with your DR. 7 bludgeoning damage.
That's more of a problem.
You are grappled and pulled into the wall of vines and restrained. So your speed is 0.
Yeah. What other things does that affect?
Restrained, I'll tell you in a second.
Cool.
That was.
I mean, it's going to be a while until it's my turn.
Neve, you're up.
Wait, did Tyndall go?
He was after you. and
You
that's
are. Tid was after you, yes. Neve, you're up. Restrained. Attack rolls against you have advantage. Your attack rolls have disadvantage. You have disadvantage on dex saving throws. Your speed is 0.
Okay, that's fine. So
Okay.
it's difficult for me to attack things and easy for things to attack me.
Yes.
That's about right.
Although that's got very fast when you attack that battle cancel.
Yes, that's true. Neve, you're up.
Yes. I am going to. Seems like going through the vines is a really bad choice.
It's only just a movement at the moment.
Well, yeah, but like just because of things that might be in the vines.
Sure, maybe. But we don't know because they're indistinguishable, particularly when somebody puts them to sleep.
Good choice.
I've marked roughly where they were, I think. From my memory, that's where I think they are.
Sure.
Fuck it. I'm gonna barrel through 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna hit this thing with my shillelagh.
Okay, there's a
Advantage.
and coming bursting through the vines is Neve, who comes in swinging. You hit. You really hit. You really hit.
My
Cool.
AC
bad.
13.
And I hit for 6 damage.
6 damage. Yeah, you crunch into it. In fact, it was just about to pounce on Yorg, and you pin it back into the vines, and it's scrabbling and scrabbling away at the. So these things look like a really nasty version of Baby Groot, right? That's the kind of like their little twig monsters.
Baby Groot with an evil alignment.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and you push it back into the twig that can also meld with twigs and do all kinds of cool stuff. That was what you do. Tyndall. What does Tyndall do?
Tyndall is going to attempt to hack away at the vines which are grabbing Yorg.
Sweet.
All right.
Okay.
Away, foul plantation.
Away, foul wine tree.
I love it.
Release him.
Make me an attack shot. Attack
With
check.
bless.
On guard. With less.
With less.
I got 18 on that one.
19.
19.
On a 19, Yorg, you may attempt to escape the grapple. Not even though it's not your turn. You may now attempt to escape the grapple.
Not with less.
Yes, yeah. Not with bless. So it's good check. So
That with athletics, that's 17.
17. Okay, so Tyndall comes and hacks at the thing, and Jorg, you are out of the grapple.
Thank you, my lord.
There we go.
Then
Out of the grapple?
you
Much of
are no longer restrained. You are
in the same space?
in the same space, but you are no longer restrained. You've pulled yourself off of the vines. It is now the twig blights. Go twig blights. That's fine.
Just add more monsters to the encounter.
I have a number of twig blights that there are.
I am absolutely positive you do, and I'm terrified as to what that upper limit is.
It's quite a few. Well, yeah, I mean, if you hadn't rolled on that 20 on your perception, then it would have been an ambush, which is what these things are supposed to do, because they're like, I'm a tree. No, I'm not. But I think that 20 on perception should be rewarded. So this one is going to come. So it's going to come. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's going to attack Lord Tyndall.
Are these things?
No, away! Oh God!
Are these things one of the things on that checklist? You have?
2, 3, 4, 5 is going to attack Jorg. And this thing's going to go 1, 2, 3, and it's going to attack Jorg. So, the one at Lord Tyndall
Is it one of the things on that checklist I gave you?
does. It is one of those things.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay, so because of the thing that you did, the one that attacks Lord Tyndall comes appearing from out of the bush. Yeah, these things, they basically meld into existence, poking their heads out of the vines, and the foliage constructs their bodies as they go. And the knotted bark and twigs, even of the fencing that keeps these vines, forms into these long grasping claws that surge out towards Lord Tyndall. And as the claws come in, there's a little, like a pouring water that comes in front of him and kind of blunts the blow, and he steps back out of the way, which is a good choice. However, one of them, two of them are going to attack you. First one not at advantage. 17?
Nope.
Yep. Second one with advantage. 20?
Yes.
Take it. It's going to hit you.
I am not Sidarius.
It's not a crit. It's going to hit you 4.
It's nice to know that they don't just hit me in crits. That moment where you're like, oh, they hit me.
Oh, no, they suck. Oh, no, they're still pretty bad. D4, there, the D4. That's quite good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5 points of damage.
Ow.
Yeah, so these things are scraping away.
You're starting to look at the one down now.
Yeah, well, you were pulled in. The idea was that you were going to pull you in and they were just going to drag you apart. They're trying to tear you limb from limb, which is pretty cool. And then it is... Twig. Oh, yeah, this thing. It's going to have a go at you. With disadvantage. No, it's going to have a go at you, Neve.
Cool. Yeah, I just hit it.
Because you just hit it. And it's mindless, and it should be attacking the thing it's got advantage for, but it's not going to do that. It's going to miss you. So it goes... And, yeah, I mean, it's jumped on you, and it's scraping at your face. It's not doing any damage yet. You're batting it away, but it's kind of hooked onto your staff, and you can see it's trying to embed itself into your shillelagh.
No
Bad.
way, buddy.
Twiggy.
Iris.
Don't touch my things.
Don't like other people touching my things.
Okay. Having already got my crossbow ready, so yeah, how would cover work on these vines if I'm shooting at them?
If you're shooting at them, if you're shooting at this vine, it does not have cover.
All right.
If you're shooting at anything beyond one of these, you are at disadvantage.
Okay, then I will level my crossbow and take a shot, completely ignoring Jorg's instruction to come closer to the hideous scribbly things.
Yep.
Fine. To be honest, you may well be on the... Either grouping up is good or not.
Yeah, which is wildly.
You sure?
Almost certainly. Like a 7.
Yeah, that's a miss.
7, 8, 9. 9.
12 is what you need.
Okay, still no.
12 is what you need for these things, guys.
Okay.
So you know. So you don't ask me if you're on 12, you do it.
Okay, then with the movement, I'm going to come around to this side.
Yeah.
So I can still...
That's fine. Just so long as we're all roughly close enough to each other,
You're-
okay.
There is a thing scrabbling away at Neve, and there are 2 large twig monsters that are made out of crazy vine branches trying to poke holes in your armour. Succeeding a bit.
Certainly not. I need to kill the thing that's flanking me. I really need to kill the thing that's flanking me. Actually, the thing that's flanking me is because of the little bastard in the trees with fairy fire in front of me, which makes it the better target. Because this again is easier to kill to take away the advantage of the other thing.
It's also had half its damage taken.
Get it, Yorg.
Forgot that.
Use it or lose it.
Got any healing to offer? I'd appreciate it. That might not hit.
What do you get? 12 with the answer.
7. Oh no, with the D4 it definitely does. With that bless, literally with that
Bless
bless.
is so good.
However, it is also a pittance of damage, and it's almost 6.
6. That's what you need. 6 and 6. They got 12 hit points. So you swing in, and it's like the three of you combine perfectly. You swing, and it jumps out the way, and you can feel the sort of magic of Iris that you were the blessed enchantment that you were given earlier guides your axe back up at the same time as Amy swings. Neve swings in with her shillelagh and smashes the thing into your axe, and it is vaporized. Grats. That is gone. It is this thing. It's going to get a bit closer. It's going to go 1, 2, like that. Okay. And then it's going to say, you are currently in difficult terrain.
Right.
So it's going to do it at advantage.
Yep, that's right.
It's going to say, hey, that thing that we did before. Alright, fine.
Did you roll badly? If that was the roll badly, no. I didn't know whether it was the
No,
roll
I rolled
badly
an 18, which is not bright enough to hit you.
No, actually, it is. My armor class is 18. If you hit armor class, you get it.
Oh, your armor class is only 18.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha, be hit. Okay. Okay, yeah.
As much as I'm about to regret this with my 6 remaining health.
7, 8, 7, 6, 5. Take 5 points of damage.
Oh, you are kidding.
And you are restrained once more. As your limbs are pinned. In fact, you feel that you are pushed in a kind of crucifix style up against the trellising.
Yeah.
And you can see this thing is sending vines that are going in and out and in and out, and they are making a direct beeline to your veins. They're going to be punching into you next turn. Try and avoid it. Thank you very much. Then Neve.
Okay, I would like to head down to this horrible, horrible blighty thing.
Yeah.
And
Big
I'm
one, yeah.
and I'm going to do my purification ritual thing. Now I don't have it as a spell like what I did in the river.
So you've got a healing potion, haven't you?
You've got 4.
Well,
how many doses of fairy dust do you have left?
Oh yes, 3, wasn't it?
Fairy dust. I have 3.
You want to go and sprinkle fairy dust
I
on
would
this
like
thing?
to go and sprinkle fairy dust on this thing.
And then well water, wasn't it?
Just make me a fairy dust. Okay, so you take a pinch of fairy dust, run up and make me an attack check with your fairy dust.
And bless.
And bless.
And advantage.
And
because,
advantage because it's lit up like I've nat 20.
Nat 20 's
You
enough.
can't even make this shit up, can you?
Neve walks up with some fairy dust, takes a pinch of the stuff out of the bag. You have seen this. You were not. Oh, Lord Tyndall certainly was not. So Neve walks up, reaches into a pouch, and pulls out some fine silvery powder, and she casts it, and it goes over this creature, and where it lands, it's like acid rain. It starts to eat away at the pockmark, and you see the black ichor inside this thing. It writhes and flails. You are released. It writhes and flails, and the ichor drains out of it and ends up in a puddle on the floor. This thing is defeated.
Oh yeah!
Be careful with that stuff. You don't
Yeah.
have much.
You
I
really
know, I
don't.
know,
It's
I
very, very powerful.
Jesus.
Grants.
pinches.
Yeah, you've defeated my big thing.
Oh man.
Didn't even get to use this cool trick. That's okay. Tyndall. Tyndall sees this and goes, what's Tyndall going to do? He is very flanked.
Tyndall is being closed in on by a scary leaf thing.
Yeah.
He is going to try and hit it.
Go for it. Make me an attack check.
With bless.
With Bless.
Oh,
He hits.
21.
Really hits. Roll me d6 of damage.
2.
He does 2 damage to this thing.
Aha!
Swell. Then it is their go, and they are going to both of them attack him,
But both with disadvantage, which is really
which is cancelled. So one of them misses. One
one of them gets disadvantage because I can still use my action to impose disadvantage.
But they've got advantage from flanking.
Yes, they have advantage from
but
flanking.
they also have disadvantage from something else.
Yes.
So
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what I'm going to do
Yeah,
for this
that's
because one of them missed and one of them
absolutely fine.
corrected.
No,
So 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, you impose disadvantage to the one that missed.
Nope, that's
So
absolutely fine. It was a thing I needed to do.
that's fine. No, I completely agree. So you step in and try and get in the way, but sadly, it is not enough. And Lord Tyndall takes himself. Lord Tyndall gets and there is a claw that goes straight through his shoulder.
Oh!
He goes very white. He grabs at it, hacks at the claw, and it smashes through the branch. And he turns to you and says, "I didn't." And then he collapses to the ground.
Oh!
Iris.
You're going to be fine, kiddo.
Um,
So the man who's probably older than him.
okay.
No, not.
Without quicken yet, can I cast a level 1 spell as a bonus spell and then a cantrip as an action?
You can make me an Arcana check, please. That's the kind of thing. If it's the kind of thing your character's going to get to do at next level, I think.
5.
No, that's a no then.
Okay, no. Okay, so the most important thing is Tyndall.
Gone.
It's not gone, is he?
No, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to run up on Sue and spare the dying on him.
Yeah.
So stabilise him. So run up, reach down.
Concentration. I've taken some damage.
Certainly, concentration check. DC 10. DC 10. Spare the dying on Tyndall.
Reach down. Hold it.
Is it a concentration? Is it a con saving throw? So is it blessed?
Yes. I think I'll check. Doesn't matter for now.
Fine,
Yes.
that's fine.
What do you get? Spare the dying. Great. You run down, punch your hand into Tyndall, and you see that the hole that punctured right through him closes up around you. You got there close enough. Tyndall was dying. He got stabbed right through his chest, and he's not dying no more. Good job, you saved him. York, you're up.
I'm going to try and kill the thing directly behind me.
Yep. Go for it.
No, I need to kill the thing. So let's kill the thing. That is.
This could go bad.
Yes, it could. That's totally what I was.
15 hits it.
Yep. How much damage?
5, and I'm channeling smite into this.
Yep.
Keep the fucking hands off him. He's mine for the moment.
He's mine.
So 5, and then another. Well, that's a pretty mediocre smite, to be honest. 5, 6, 7, 8, plus.
Do you do 11 damage to it?
I think I did 12. I think I did 13 actually. 5, 8, 9, 13. 13 points of damage.
To this one?
Yep.
Smash! You reach up and you shout something, and your axe comes straight through it. It splinters through the head, then the chest, and then all of the horrible, knotted, wiry, skeletal frame. Smash, 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 smash. You snap it to
literally
pieces.
courtesy of the smite, even though I only rolled 3 on the D8.
Yeah, you still do it.
Hit.
That was Yorg. Neve, what would you like to do?
I'm going to run back to the group here and I'm going to smack this thing right in its twiggy face.
Do it.
Do I still have bless?
Yes.
Yep, I'm
Not
doing it.
pretty.
I totally hit it and I hit it for 7.
Is this
7
the
damage.
one that's already been hit?
This one here, I don't know if it's been
No,
hit
I don't
already.
think so.
One of them's already been hit. That's fine. You hit it for 7 damage.
Didn't Tyndall do 2 points of damage to the one that York just smashed?
Yeah. Is it that one? Okay,
Yeah.
fine. You hit it for 7 damage, and it's you push your staff in, and the thorns extrude and extrude, and you can see them pushing and puncturing into the skin of the bark around it. Make me an athletics check, please.
Athletics check.
Yeah.
Still with the advantage?
No, it's a skill check, not an attack.
That is 12.
On a 12, you wrench it round, and there's a horrible crack, and this thing breaks apart under your attack. There is one thing left. And
that is York's HP.
That is also the same number as Yog's HP, in fact.
It gets to go. It has no advantage. It rolls a 7. It misses. Iris, you're up.
So, channeling the near corpse in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a Toll the Dead at the
Do it.
At the spine creature thing there.
Channel Tyndall's soul into your magic.
It's more of his lack of life essence.
Yeah.
So, would it like to take me a DC 14 Wiz saving throw?
No.
Okay.
It would definitely not.
Has it taken damage already?
No, but you are channeling Tyndall, so do the do D12. So yeah, you see Iris holds one hand on her amulet, reaches down and looks at Tyndall, and then up at this thing, and there's a dull boom throughout the vineyard.
Two.
Quite a dull gong.
Dong.
He wasn't very dead.
Yeah, he's still dead.
Mostly dead.
You do 2 points of damage to this thing. All right.
Big difference
You're
between
up.
mostly dead and all dead.
But the force of the bell causes some of the bark to peel back off of it. Revealing
One day
black
you'll roll
ichor
decent
underneath.
myself.
Yorg. Well, when you're level 5, it's 2d12, and that's pretty good.
I'm just gonna fucking hit it. I fucking hit it.
Yeah, you do.
14 before the bless, that's right.
How much damage?
That's a nice max dice to get. 8, 13.
13. Between the smashing of Yorg's axe and the tolling of the dead, the blights die and the vineyard is at peace once again as the sun dips lower on the horizon and finally sets, leaving you standing in a blighted vineyard. And that is where we're going to leave this session. Tune in next week. Players, don't go nowhere because we are going to carry straight on. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you later. Right, so